Real estate can be a lonely journey, and that loneliness is one of the things that kills most entrepreneurs' motivation. And one of the things that I see agents struggling with is that feeling of being alone on this journey, and it really starts to get to them. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. I've gone through it myself, and I want to explain to you some very strategic things you can do in order to find your tribe. Because at the end of the day, success is 50% mental, 50% environmental. Meaning that if you're not in an environment that is conducive to growth, to staying fired up and motivated and inspired at all times, it's going to be really difficult to do it yourself because 50% of what you need to succeed is lacking. So let's dive into some tactical things that you could do that I've implemented myself in order to find your tribe and start to be surrounded by people that are just like you or even ahead of you, which is going to completely change your business forever. And I'll explain that in multiple exact examples. What's up, guys? My name is Mike Sherrard with eXp. I train thousands of agents every year. And I'm really excited to talk about this because it's near and dear to my heart. I've been lonely for years. And this is the stuff that not many people want to talk about. Everybody talks about the fun stuff, the tips, the tricks, the strategies, the tutorials, luxury, and how amazing being a realtor is. But the reality of it is that the majority of it's pretty lonely. And especially depending on what avenue you take in your business, you can feel like you're misunderstood. And, I was on a call the other day and coaching an agent on YouTube. And what he was saying is that even his own mother dropped a negative comment on one of his YouTube videos. He not only feels like he's alone because his friends abandoned him, like happened to me, but his own family basically abandoned him and doesn't support his journey. Can you imagine how lonely that must feel? But guess what? I helped him work through it, and I'm going to help you work through it as well in case you are feeling that exact same way. So let's talk about this for a second. And so one of the things that many agents face when they get into real estate is a bit of an identity crisis, which is you used to be this person, usually with a 9-to-5, usually hanging out with other people that have that same sort of lifestyle. And oftentimes it was people partying on weekends and living very casually and just kind of being complacent, rolling through life and just living, existing. And now you're a different person and you're entering a new chapter. And you want to be the one that changes your family's life forever. You want to be the first millionaire in your family. You want to set yourself and your family financially free and also give time freedom. And you have to go down a path that your friends and family don't understand. And so what happens is there seems to be a really difficult time with an identity crisis as to who you used to be, who you are today, and who you might become. And so there's a couple things that are here before I talk to you about how to find your tribe, which is that there's many people who are scared to face who they might become because of what that might do to the people that used to know you. Let me explain. I come from a town that is very small. Average person kind of just makes $50,000 a year. They marry whoever they were dating in university or high school. They get a house that's, $150,000, a dog, a couple kids, all by the age of 25. And then they basically ride it out. And if that's what they want, all the power to them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful life for many people. But it's not for me, and it's probably not for you if you're pushing yourself and watching this video. And so what happens is you used to relate to those people. Those people in your old community have a certain expectation for what life should look like for most people. You're over here saying you want to make millions of dollars, you want to do crazy trips, or maybe you want certain cars or certain, material items that have always been on your vision board, and you want to do all of these things. But to the old community of people that you used to surround yourself with, they can't even conceptualize that. To them, money is greed. Money is, unfair. You start looking at socialism and different things like that, and it really doesn't connect with them, and people don't understand it. And what happens when they don't understand it, they don't understand you. And it starts to create distance. And that distance is what starts to make you feel lonely because you feel like you're abandoned by the people who used to be your inner circle. But the truth is that can no longer be your inner circle because they will hold you exactly where you used to be. And you want to get to a point over here that is in a completely different lifestyle. And so you lose your friends, you lose the people, and it starts to weigh on you. And it started to weigh on me because when I got into real estate, all of my friends that I used to spend every weekend with and go on trips with basically washed their hands and said, I don't get what you're doing here. I don't like it. I don't like those stupid videos that you're putting out. I'm done. I stopped getting invited to every party, every trip, all of it. And it was hard. It was really hard. And that's because in the beginning, I felt like I was losing a part of me. But what I realized is that based on the man and the person that I wanted to become, they could never be a part of me because they're not where I want to be. And so let's talk about finding your tribe and finding people, because now I have way better friends, people that actually understand me, people that push me, and people that support me come hell or high water, no matter what I'm going through at any time, always. And people that can lean on and trust like family, like brothers and sisters. And so how did I find those people? Well, the same way, I'm going to tell you how you can find those people for yourself. So there's 3 things that I want to walk you through. The first is finding those people. And so there's a couple different elements to this, 3 in particular. So the first one is going to be joining the right communities. And you're a byproduct of your environment. And so many times people will say, well, Mike, I struggle to find people just like me. Well, guess what? In my city, Calgary, which is very blue collar, oil and gas, not many young entrepreneurs, not many content creators. Well, of course, I found it difficult to find people who are just like me, because guess what? There isn't a whole lot of local people just like me. But that's okay, because we live in a different world now where it does not have to be local. The majority of my best friends are not local, but I talk to them every day. I fly to visit them. We build businesses together, multiple businesses, and we're all working toward the same mission. And so the first thing that I did is I started to immerse myself in the right communities. And so this could be something like eXp Realty with my Wolfpack. There's, over 2,300 agents who are just like me and probably like you if you're watching this video, that all support each other, that are all pushing to get better in every aspect of their life, family, fitness, fulfillment, and finances, even faith as well. And so joining the right organization or the right brokerage or the right community within the industry is very powerful. If you're already at eXp or at a different brokerage and you don't want to make a switch, that's completely okay. That's why we built the Atlas Alliance, a family-like intimate community of people who were just like you. I'll link that below in case you want to check that out. But it doesn't even have to be in real estate. I've gone to different communities in the Tony Robbins world and the Realty Syndicate world with Andy Frisella and Ed Milet, but I started to join communities of people who would be just like me based on the nature of that community. So you look at Realty with Andy Frisella and Ed Milet. If you relate to either of those people, who are 2 very polarizing people, if you relate to them, guess what? Basically everybody in that community, you're probably going to relate to as well. And I've proven that's the case with Realty, as well as some of the other communities that I've been a part of. But that extends to the second part of this, which is going to events. Going to events is one of the best ways to find people who are just like you. Because if you pick an event, whether it's spiritual, financial, physical, it does not matter, faith-based, well, guess what? The others that are going there are on the same mission as you. So when you start to put yourself in the environment of other people that are just like you, which might require an investment on your part, you're going to start to find your tribe. But the thing that I did that really made a massive difference is I started to put out content just like this. Because guess what? I am on camera as I am in person, as I am anywhere. And so if you like me, if you like my content, you're probably going to gravitate toward me and what I'm doing. If you don't like me, then you're probably not going to watch my content, and probably not going to join or partake in anything that I'm doing. And guess what? That is the whole point, because I've had so many people partner with me from my YouTube channel. And guess what? They're all like me, because they all resonate to who I am and the message that I'm shouting from a mountaintop. And so when you start to put out content, especially on platforms like YouTube, the people that are going to consume it and the people that are going to reach out or join anything, which I'll get to, are going to be people just like you. So if you're on this journey of YouTube, for example, one of the best things that you could do is create your own community. And if you create your own community and people have an opportunity and say, hey, maybe it's faith-based. I've got a group that's doing this right now out of Florida. And they're saying, putting out YouTube content, and if you really like what they're doing, then you can join the private community of faith-based realtors. I've got another group doing that exact same thing out of Austin. And guess what? They're finding a ton of people who are just like them. So if you can't afford to immerse yourself in the right communities, create your own. But start to put out content related to your genuine message, be authentically yourself on camera, drive traffic to that community, and start to engage with them on a weekly basis. And you're going to have some of the most open, transparent, vulnerable, and rewarding conversations because you're surrounding yourself with people who are just like you. The second thing is going to be unpacking passions and hobbies. Listen, I know that a lot of people at real estate consume their life. I have for many years, and I get it. And there's a time and a place to do that. But there's also equally as much value in being able to find or tap back in to hobbies and passions that you have. For me, mountain biking, big one, snowboarding, hiking, anything outdoors, as well as cars and watches. Those are kind of my passions, always have been since a kid. So one of the things that I have in order to get a relief from real estate, I don't want to be talking about real estate with every person at all times, every day. It becomes exhausting. And so how do you get out of that? Well, if you're hanging out with realtors, guess what's probably going to come up? Real estate. How are your deals going? How's your business going? That's exhausting, and it's not freeing of your mind. So what you need to do is start to tap into the hobbies that you have and find other people that are in that. You can go to meetup.com, you can go to eventbrite.com, you can start to, for me, mountain biking, I used to just go to the trails and hitch a ride with some of the other people there and talk with them. And that's how I've met some of my best friends. But it's really important to not shy away from the passions and hobbies aspect of your life, because here's the thing. A lot of people will say, well, I can't do that because it doesn't directly impact the business that I'm trying to grow, and I don't have time for that right now. Let me explain something that's a really important concept. The mental break that doing a passion or hobby that is going to give you is going to actually propel your real estate business, because when you come back to work, you're going to feel refreshed, you're going to have clarity, you're going to feel relaxed, and you're going to be able to operate on a way higher capacity than you did before you went on the break. Or contrast, if you just kept working and staying in the environment that's stressing you out, making you feel overwhelmed, and giving you anxiety half the time. So finding those passions and hobbies and being able to hang out with people that relate to that as well, especially if they're healthy and not like drinking or, any other nonsense that you shouldn't be doing. That's a really important thing that's going to give you clarity. It's going to propel your business, but it's going to allow you to have a mental break, which you need once in a blue moon, not from life, but just from the day-to-day activities. And the third component of this is understanding that you're not alone. And so I talk to so many agents that constantly bring up the feeling of loneliness and feeling like they're the only one on this journey, and that it's so difficult because, they have nobody else around them that's just like them. Well, there's two components to this. Number one, truthfully, the honest truth that most people don't want to hear, that's your fault. And that was my fault for a lot of time, because I made the conscious decision to isolate myself because I thought that that's the way. I thought shut everything out, remove myself from all these other people, just keep doing my thing and grind all day on business. But that's where you mentally break. And so when I started realizing that, hey, it doesn't have to be that way. There's certainly no way I'm the only one dealing with this. And I started to immerse myself in other communities. You start to realize, holy shit, everybody's feeling this way. And then you start to have conversations about how you can get over it together. And then you build immediate bonds because you're all facing the same struggles, and you can bond over the struggles and how you can overcome them together. And so you're not alone, but you don't have to be alone. And if you choose to be alone, that is on you. But hopefully this video helps you better understand that you can control the people that you start to attract or that you start to be surrounded by. And that better be a priority going forward, because you are a byproduct of your environment, and you need to be surrounded by people who understand you, who push you, who understand your potential and want to see you win, not the ones who want to see you stay exactly where you are today, and the people that are telling you that they don't understand or support what you're doing because it's not familiar to them. So the last thing that I want to leave you with is a recommendation, which is to check out this next video where I break down how to overcome the dark side of real estate, which is comparison from other people and negativity, the negative comments, the people that don't support you. I break down how to strategically handle that. So if you start to immerse yourself in the right communities and you start to get outside of your own head and ignore the negativity with that video, you're going to be a weapon, and you're going to start to build the business of your dreams.